Ironsworn is hands down one of my favorite tabletop RPGs. I made a video about why I love it, I'll link it below, but today I want to talk about the upcoming expansion for Ironsworn called Ironsworn Starforged. Welcome Polyhedron, I'm Ron. So for my full thoughts about why I love this particular game, go watch my other video, but in short, Ironsworn is a dark fantasy game where you as a powerful adventurer swear an iron vow which drives you to complete quests and forge a story. The game is designed in a way that lets you play with or without a GM and requires very little, if any, preparation to just sit down and start playing. The setting for Ironsworn is a gritty fantasy world that sits somewhere between Vikings and A Song of Ice and Fire, or maybe, you know, the first Law trilogy by Joe Abercrombie. There's already one expansion already out for the game called Delve, which gives you a bunch of new mechanics around, well, delving into dangerous places like dungeons, but the core game, shockingly, criminally, is free. This new expansion, Starforged, is essentially Ironsworn in space, which already is just, yes, I want it. By the way, I am in no way affiliated with this game or the creator of this game, Sean Tompkin. I'm not getting paid to make this video. I'm just a very big fan. So let's break down everything that we know about Starforged. We're not going to be able to cover everything because there's a lot, but hopefully we'll cover enough to give you a good understanding of what to expect. This video comes to you in this many parts. Part 1, the setting. Tompkin calls the tone of Starforged the scavenged future or Dark Ages sci-fi. Think about something like Firefly, where you have ships kind of cobbled together, run by a ragtag crew, but married with the isolation and suspense of Alien, all put in this kind of retro future aesthetic of Battlestar Galactica. Not this one. This one. Firefly and the Battlestar Galactica reboot are two of my favorite sci-fi things ever, by the way. But of course, Starforged doesn't forsake its fantasy origins, so you can expect to find mysteries, lore, and, you know, cosmic horror. Personally, when I play Ironsworn, I like to use the setting provided by the game, but just like you could tweak Ironsworn core to fit other fantasy settings, you'll also be able to change things for Starforged to make it more Star Wars or Star Trek if you wanted. But why would you when it's already more Firefly and Battlestar Galactica, which are both better than those other things? Fight me. What I might do though is tweak this a bit to maybe play like Warhammer 40k smugglers or something running from the Imperium. That could be cool. Warhammer 40k is also better than Star Wars and Star Trek. Fight me. Why do I keep digging this hole? Play whatever space thing you want. The Forge itself is an expanse of chaotic space. Much like how your people came to the Ironlands from the old world in the core game, your people came to the Forge generations ago. Maybe they were refugees forced to leave their home behind after some disaster, or maybe they were explorers pushing the boundaries of known space, or survivors of an immense interstellar war. The Forge is littered with anomalies. It doesn't behave as space should. It's the universe gone crazy. Turbulent gravity waves move entire planets in what Tompkin calls a horrendously complex mockery of orbital mechanics. Across the Forge are scattered remnants of an ancient civilization. These remnants offer both power and danger while your people try to make their home on these newly discovered worlds, but of course, these worlds and the space between them are rarely safe. Part 2, your character. If you've played Ironsworn, you're going to be generally familiar with how your character works. It's pretty straightforward. You set your stats, which are kind of similar to your D&D ability scores, just way simpler, and you pick 3 assets that go along with your idea for the character, and you're good to go. You can just sit down and play. Starforged introduces 2 new components to your characters: Rep and Influence. Rep generally behaves like a stat that improves over time, and influence is a spendable resource. Naturally, there are going to be new assets that fit the setting of the game, but the rest of how your character works is pretty much in line with how you're already familiar with it from Ironswron, including, of course, the core of the game, which is swearing an iron vow. And I love that this core idea wasn't compromised. In his write-up, Tomkin does mention that he will have a more generic version of these iron vows, these quests, that will be relabeled as missions. So if you want, you could more easily adapt it to other settings, but personally, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to swear on iron like I mean it. You know, I've been with my wife for about 11 years now, and to this day, when I talk about stuff like this, sometimes I'll just look over at her and I'll just see her like horrified by how much of a nerd I am. Well, you said yes, you chose this. So, part 3, your ship. Serenity, the Millennium Falcon, USS Enterprise, Galactica, any great sci-fi story needs an iconic ship, and you have yours. Odds are that you're not going to start your journey with anything too impressive or fancy, and personally I really like the idea of a cobbled together rust bucket of a ship. Your ship acts almost like another character. The ship has its own assets, which are called components, which are what you use to customize and improve the ship, make it uniquely yours. Just like your main character, your ship starts with 3 components, and as you progress, you can either get new ones or improves the one that you already have. You can use the mechanics of ship and components to fashion anything you need to fit your setting, like a mech suit or a Fury Road style super truck. If you're playing with allies, you can share the ship, be the crew, and pool your experience points together to improve it, which is really cool. The ship also introduces new moves. Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar with how moves work in Ironsworn, so I'll keep this pretty high level. But moves are essentially the underlying mechanics of the narrative. You try something risky, do a face danger move. You hit someone in battle, do a strike move. When your ship takes a hit, either in a crazy space battle, crash landing, or maybe a loose asteroid smashes into it or something, you'll use the new withstand damage move, which will decide if the ship explodes or if, everybody in the ship just gets banged around a little bit or anything in between. Damage can break your ship and its components, so once you're in the clear, you might want to try to patch it up a little bit. That's when you use the new repair move, which gives you a pool of points that you can spend on increasing your ship's integrity or, like its health. Or you could use it to get some of your components back online if they were damaged. I really like that the total amount of points that you can get to fix things depends on where you are in the situation. So if you're at like a repair facility or you're under fire, you're not going to be able to make the same repairs. I love this because I love urgency in tabletop RPGs. Often, you're going to be sitting in your air-conditioned room, just rolling dice by yourself or with friends, and you're not going to feel the urgency of having things explode in your imaginary spaceship. So I like that the game tells you, no, you can't fix it right now. You're going to die, dum-dum, because you stole an ancient artifact from some insane space pirates, and now they're trying to board your ship and kill all of you. Part 4, navigation. Navigating the Forge is difficult and dangerous. Much of it is uncharted and all of it wants to kill you. When you travel through the vast expanse of space, you can either chart a new path or lay an existing course. Charting a path means trailblazing a new route through the perilous space of the Forge, and this will of course be more dangerous and will take longer. When you follow a known path, for example, the return journey after charting a path, or maybe you got some maps and charts somehow, you can use the new lay a course move, which allows you to get to your destination quickly, but of course, as always, things can go wrong on a bad roll. Part 5, connections. The Forge is a condensed part of space. While it is vast, it's full of stuff. Derelict ships, planets, outposts, space stations, weird astral phenomena, tons of opportunities for danger and adventure. Your character is not going to survive all of that on their own. You're going to have to depend on your connections for supplies, repairs, medical assistance, information, and generally help with, not being dead. A connection can be with someone in a faction, a community, a cult, a floating space city, whatever fits your narrative. When you make a connection, you choose their role. Are they a patron who asks you to swear an iron vow and go on a quest? Are they the best damn ship mechanic in the galaxy? Are they an informant? Are they a healer? Whoever they are, you're gonna use your rep, that stat that we mentioned earlier, to make a connection with them. If you're already familiar with Ironsworn, these connections replace the sojourn move. So if you used to be able to come to some community and use sojourn to stack up on supplies and heal up, it's not gonna be that simple in the Forge. Here, you gotta make connections. You gotta have people willing to help you. When a connection becomes strong enough, you can forge a bond with them, which is a move that also exists in Ironsworn Core. Essentially, this is taking the relationship to the next level. Forging a bond earns you influence, which you can then spend on getting more rep to make new connections. And that's how you build and expand your network across the Forge. You can also use that influence to get out of tight situations by spending influence to alter the outcome of a move. And finally, part 6, truths. The Forge of your game is going to be very different from the Forge of mine. This is one of my favorite things about Ironsworn. When you start playing, you customize the setting to fit what you or your group likes. If you're familiar with the concept of truths from Ironsworn, it's the same idea here. These are categories of things that are true about your setting. What I like to do is just randomize everything. Just roll the dice on each truth and just go with whatever comes up, because it creates like some crazy setting. There is a preview for truths for Ironsworn Starforged, and as expected, they are very cool. Many of the ones from the core game carry over, like religion, mysticism, communities, and truths about how people first came to the Forge. And there are new ones as well about artificial intelligence and how data and communications work, or alien life forms. I read through it. It's awesome. I can't wait to play it. Sean, give it. I'm ready. Ironsworn Starforged is expected to release sometime in 2021. It includes stellar art from the ridiculously talented Joshua Meehan, and I can't wait for it. I hope this was a good overview of what to expect. When we do get our hands on the rulebook, maybe I'll do like a full-on rules deep dive. But in the meantime, go play a game.